Hey everyone, Chris here with Clutter Reduction Junk Removal.
I'm Tanya.
And today we are at another senior living facility. We were just here the other night doing a last minute job. We are back again for a repeat client. We are going to be moving everything from one unit down to the other. So this is the apartment. This is junk removal. This chair is junk removal. All of these boxes go. The chairs are junk removal. I don't know about the wheelchair chair, and all these are just clothing. All this stuff here goes. The little table goes. There's nothing in the kitchen cabinets. The bed and adjustable frame go. The nightstand and the artwork there go. This one here, these are removable marble tops, which are good for junk removal because it makes it a lot lighter to do them in sections. And it's one more step in moving, but it's not the worst thing. And then there's this big bad boy here with another marble top. So what we'll end up doing is we'll take all the marble tops off, put them in with the mattress bars, and I'll just separate them with a pad. So we'll just use one pad and we'll just use it like a taco stand where it just goes like this. And that way you don't have to use a bunch of different pads, just to keep them from clinking on each other as we're moving and going over weather strips. And then we'll just wrap the bands around this. And then we'll take out each nightstand and small dresser on the dollies. These lamps and all the fragile stuff will just get put in this B-pack, and we'll just be careful with how we load it and take that out in trips. And that's pretty much it. So we're just gonna get all the moving stuff done now because residents go to lunch soon and I don't wanna be in and out of the elevator with that going on. And then we will come back and grab the junk removal. So we do have a couple things in the bathroom, some clothes here, this stuff, that's all speed pack. And then there's some other clothes in the front closet, which again, speed pack. And the way we pull clothes out for this speed pack when we don't have a wardrobe to hang up on is I will empty out the speed pack, put a blanket in, light side facing up. That's the side I use for furniture. That's the cleaner side typically. We'll lay that down, and all the clothing I just kind of swoop down so it lays nice and flat. That way you don't have to worry about them coming off the hangers and it'll get all tangled up and wrinkly and stuff. So we're gonna go in and get started. We're gonna work on the big bulk items first, so that way we can lay down the important foundations. So we'll grab the bed first, the nightstands, the dresser, and then we'll work our way into here and start grabbing like the boxes towards the end, and we can kind of just put those off to the side based on their room description. That way we don't keep running into obstacles. So we'll get started. For you guys, if you have a really big piece, it's really heavy and you can't quite lift it back to tip it down onto a dolly or onto a hand truck, here's something you can do. I haven't had to do this in a while, but this has like a built-in desk that pops out, and then it has multiple built-in drawers that I can't pull out, and then the bottom thing has a whole built-in like stereo system. It's a lot heavier than I thought it was. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to lift the one side up and slide my tool bag underneath it, so that way it's already starting off the ground. And what that's gonna do is when I go to pull, it helps with the inertia of getting it off the ground essentially, because it's already pre-started. It's like having someone already push it for you a little bit, because it's a lot harder to break something off the ground and then pull it back than it is if it was already started. already got it a little bit on an incline, which is gonna help me just a little bit, and that's all you really need sometimes. If I need to go up a little higher, I'll go up a little higher, but I think at least from this angle, I can get the rest. You're cheating if you had that one. Hey everyone, so I mentioned this in my clean out video, the one before this. We did a pretty big clean out for a realtor the other day. Me and Tanya got it pretty much all done in one day. We did have to go back for a little bit of stuff just because we ran out of room and it was getting kind of late. And they also had to add it on to a few things towards the end, so it kind of threw us off a bit. But either way, at the very end of the night, we took out this one box that had some spray paint in it that leaked through the box and ran a trail from pretty much the front screened porch all the way down to the trailer, which got through like a beige cement pathway and then through like a pavered driveway, crossing over a HOA sidewalk and then into the street. Now, luckily in the street, you can't really see it, but you could really see it through the beige pathway by the front door. And then you could see like the trail mark going through the driveway pretty well. And we had a guy, a pressure washer guy, we called him that night, like 9 o'clock at night, came out the next day, looked at it and sat there hands and knees scrapping at it. And he got it pretty much 100% off of the pathway, which was the more important part because that was like a beige pathway. So a blue line of paint really stood out. And he got that pretty much all off, which was awesome. Only charged us $50. I gave him like a $50 tip, and overall super pleased with that. But he wouldn't do the driveway because it could mess with the sealant, and that was a different situation. So he said you could try doing this. If it doesn't work, you may have to get it like really cleaned up with a pressure washer and then reseal the driveway, and that could be like $1,000. So I was like, I'm gonna try everything I can to not have to do that because that's a big expense and that's not something that's really worth doing like insurance for. That would just be out of pocket. So me and Tanya went to Home Depot, got a couple of different chemicals that wouldn't be too harsh. And then he also gave us this like little bristle brush you attach to your drill. And between doing a combination of one of the chemicals and that and going back and forth with the hose, we were able to pretty much get off what I would say is the majority of the paint, like 95+% throughout the whole driveway. We got it pretty much 100% off on the concrete sidewalk, which is great because that's HOA. And we were doing it for like probably 3 hours into the nighttime, and I think we got it all done. We weren't able to go back the next day because it's like an hour away from us. So I'm hoping one day the realtor will send us a photo, but the closing was supposed to be today. It actually got postponed for paperwork reasons. So hopefully by the time they do revisit this, the sun would also have like faded out the paint if there is any left over. So we got super lucky with how it ended up kind of working out. And it was just one of those moments where I just instantly grew so anxious because that's always been like a fear of mine. Is I always tell people like, yeah, we don't take paint because if it spills out in the truck and it's like leaking through the trailer and I'm driving down the road and it's leaking through like an apartment complex or in the city street, I can get fined for that big time. And that's not good. So we don't usually take it. It was just one of those late night, grabbed it just to try to declutter the cabinet a little bit. It just didn't look good with them. And sometimes doing something nice doesn't help you out. So lesson learned, not taking paint again ever, unless we can at least bag it if anything else. We don't usually take paint regardless. We will if it's like brand new because we'll just bring it to like Habitat for Humanity. Or I know a couple of contractors that like to hang on to spare paint that's still pretty new because they'll use it on like small like touch-up projects. But otherwise we don't usually take paint or chemicals, typical hazard stuff. So it was just one of those situations. I'm just happy we were able to get it taken care of. So if you ever run into a similar problem, I don't know what the name of the little bristle brush is, but it's just like a little circular wire brush that you attach to a drill bit, and you basically use it to kind of lightly scuff at the surface area to remove the superficial part of whatever it is you're trying to get rid of. And then doing that with a combination of like mineral spirit or something with a scrubby and some water pretty much did the trick for us. So if you run into something similar, don't freak out like I did, because that flipped my night around. I was doing okay, and then that happened. It was just stress and frustration the rest of the night. So just throwing that out there. We are taking tomorrow off for the most part. I was supposed to do something for a family member and help them because they were renting a 26-foot box truck. They've never driven one before. So they asked me if I would help basically guide them along with that. They had to do it for a school event. And I was like, sure. But it would be like an all-day thing because they were driving like an hour north. So it turned out the husband happened to be available, and he's going to drive it, and he's done it before. So I got the day off tomorrow. We're going to be doing some cleaning and maintenance and just kind of catching up because we went out of town last weekend and came back and did that clean out the next day. And since then, we've just been doing like 14-hour days. Tanya's really been getting tossed through the, I forgot the saying. She's been getting pushed lately and challenged. So she's been doing fantastic and hasn't really been complaining other than getting hungry. So can't go wrong there. But so far, everything's going pretty well. I mean, January has been great. Our goal this year is to do 10,000 a month every month. I know that's not a big deal for some of you guys. For us, that's pretty good. So today's January 31st. We're at like 10.1. So we pretty much hit the nail on the head with that. The goal is at least 10. What would be great is like 15, because we want to make sure that we are preparing for what we want to do next with the business. And then we have some other side quest goals that we want to try to achieve. So that's just kind of where we're at for this year. And we're just trying to do the best we can. February, we got that clean out. I'm not assuming it's going to happen. I'm not expecting, but I'm cautious of the fact that it may not fall through. But it's like a $6,000 job. So that would pretty much put us at 60% of the month for the goal. So anything else we do, of course, would be really great with just pushing us towards that goal. And that's just the game plan. Like, if we can get one good clean out a month, realistically, that would put us in pretty good standing, because most of my clean outs are in like the 2,500 plus range. We don't really do like, all of our jobs are either like a quarter truck to a load, or it's like 3+ loads and there's time involved. We don't have too many like in betweens. So I'm just kind of hoping that we can keep this ball rolling, and it would really help put us in good standing this year. And we're probably going to try to hire out a couple of 1099s just to have on the roster. And then our goal is to try to hire a part-time employee by like the summertime or so, and just kind of start pushing our way into that extra building step. So just wanted to share that, and we'll see you guys next time.